Hey everybody, this is James from All Hail Internal Combustion. I figured I'd do a little final video on my seat modification on my Suzuki S40 Boulevard. What I did was once I got my plates made on here, I went ahead and I cut my frame extensions so they were parallel with these, and got some metal, some old scrap metal, and cut them out, capped them off, and welded around the sides. So I got one on here, the one on is already on here and primered. I'm about to primer this one up, and I'll get back to you and show you what it looks like after it's all primed up and the cardboard's out of the way. Now when I was welding over on this side, I got all my cardboard down because I wanted to make sure that I absolutely protected that belt because I wasn't ready to give it up yet. And I'm also protecting my plastics and everything else, and even this one right here is protecting my ignition switch, so I'm going to go ahead and leave all that stuff on here until I'm done priming and painting the frame. Be right back. Alright, so there we go. I got both sides in primer. I'm going to go ahead and let these sit for a while and dry up. Then I'll go ahead and put my gloss black paint on there to match the rest of the frame. Pull the cardboard, put the shock back on, and I'll bring you all back and show you what it looks like all put together. Now, one of those last minute little details that I want to do before I go ahead and put the seat and everything else on the bike and do my paint work, I want to take all these edges for these brackets I made and start to round them all over just to make them look a little better, and that way I don't have sharp edges every place. And I'm also going to sand these parts down real good and give them a nice coat of primer, nice coat of paint, and get it ready so it's good to go for the long haul, and I don't have to worry about coming back in here and doing them again. So once I get all these cleaned up, let's have a look at them before I get them in primer. Alright, so I got all my edges rounded off, and I went ahead and went around them. What we do is we save all of our old flapper wheels till there basically ain't nothing left, because they might not be good for grinding anymore, but they're really nice for cleaning edges up without actually cutting little trenches or teeth into them. So all these things are going to get scuffed down real quick, get them in a coat of primer. I'm waiting for the primer on the frame to dry. Once that dries, I'll come along, hit everything with a coat of gloss black, and let that set up for a while. Then I'll finally get around to putting the seat on the bike, and it'll be a permanent deal. Alright, so I got my frame all primered and painted, and now the painting's dry on that. Another thing you might want to think of when you're taking your shocks and everything off on these bikes is to clean your studs off, because these ones on the upper were really rusty. The ones down at the bottom weren't so bad, and I put some white lithium grease on mine. And also, while you got it taken apart, now is a good time to take your shock absorbers and clean real good, because usually you don't get to the inside here, and I'm not one of them motorcyclists that spends 94 hours polishing their bike and then riding it for 2 minutes. So make sure you clean everything while it's apart and you got room to get to it. And that's going to be it for right now. I'm still waiting for some paint to dry on the seat brackets, and once that dries, we'll go ahead and I'll put the pan back on here and y'all can see what it finally looks like put all back together. Some 3/8 bolts I'm going to run through here. So I'll put that on. I'm going to throw a washer underneath of it. And go ahead and feed this down through my hole here. And then I've got another washer for underneath of it, and a nylon nut to keep everything from backing out once I put this all together. Alright, so let me go ahead and snug this down. And there we go. Now that I got my spring where I want it to be, I can go ahead and take another wrench. Go ahead and lock the spring down. And that'll be it for the seat installation. I'll go ahead and do the other side. That'll finish her up, but I got my frame topped off. I got it painted semi-gloss black because I couldn't find any black paint, or gloss black paint, but it's close enough, and it's going to do exactly what I need it to do. So that'll be the end of this video. Next thing I'm going to do to it is I'm going to go ahead and put the rear stanchions on the fender to hold that up and get that all squared away. And then I'll get to the final thing I need to do on the bike, which will be the electrical system, but that'll be in some upcoming videos. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.